where every day is made extraordinary.
All right, and welcome back to The Link, everybody. The day after Easter here on the island. If you are in the mainland still celebrating the day of resurrection, so half a day to you and yours all the way back from the 671. We got a really interesting story with a good friend of our show, and personally someone I've known for almost 30 years, showing that A, our relationship goes back, and then two, we're both really old. So Steve Pangelinan, the coach of the FD Friars volleyball team, in that role since 2000. So he's been doing this for a very long time. Steve, coach, good morning. Half a day.
Good morning, half a day, Jay.
Okay, and the reason we brought Steve on today is because he has put out a petition, and we were saying this, before we went to commercial break, is traditionally Guam student athletes and interscholastic sports, you would play everybody. It didn't matter if you were private school, public school, you were one of the federal programs, everyone would play everyone. And there is a certain level of character that builds. Obviously, you get to compete against athletes of different caliber, different styles of play, and nobody knows that better than Steve in his days playing for FD. And of course, he went back to his alma mater and coached right now. But Steve, maybe just to set this up and everything, in your viewpoint, how has the level of competition changed since we basically forked or split, if you will, and actually have two leagues now, the ISA and the IIAAG?
Okay, the level of play, I think, every school has athletes, right? Every year they have those athletes. So I would say, depending on the coach and the athletes, you can still maintain a high level of play, right? But because of the split, before we have like 12 teams and there's a top 4, top 6 that are pushing each other and competing, pretty much you break it in half. Instead of 6 or 4, there's only 2 or 3 that push each other on each side of the league. And that's just, that's just the nature of the game. Mm-hmm. But I would say we every time the season is done, I feel like we're only half, I've only seen half. I only know half of the story of how we actually stand this season, and I'm sure parents and players do too. They're like, it's almost like unfulfilled, like,
yeah. And of course, you're not doing this to try and, jockey for position or give your own team, some sort of competitive advantage, because you have coached FD now. You guys won the three-peat. You guys have won the last 3 boys volleyball championships. So possibly by merging the schools and giving all of Guam's schools the chance to play everybody else, there is a chance that you could get knocked off from hitting the 4-peat. But you're totally okay with that because you believe in the full range of competition, right?
Definitely. If I was afraid of getting knocked off, I would have said, no, let's keep it separate because we're doing good so far. But no, really, if I'm in it for the, how do you say that? I got big picture in mind because I also coach boys junior nationals. I've been tapped on to help with the men's nationals.
Yep.
And so those are public school and private school, doesn't matter. And if I'm concerned about the island of Guam's level of play, then it makes sense to merge them and make them all play each other. Mm-hmm. Big picture wise. So
yeah. And you know of what you speak because you were also the starting setter on Guam, on the Team Guam national volleyball team, and you represented us in the was it the '98 South Pacific Games?
I was blessed to play I played 3 games: 94 SPG. 95 SPG, 98 micro games, 99 SPG.
Oh, there you go. So your resume kind of speaks for itself, but you see the value of being able to play, again, teams of different styles of, you got maybe like the Dodea programs where, physically, like the kids may be like a little bit taller. They've played in the States. They played it like in Japan if they were stationed over there. And it does make the athletic experience better because, you're not just playing the same types of kids with the same body types that play the same style of play over and over and over. And I remember, how much of a treat it was when, because you and I are the same year in high school, when we would go and, Sanchez would play FD, FD would play, St. John's, we would drive all the way down and go play like Inarahan and everything like that. And even just the camaraderie that you feel, like being able to experience different parts of the island. I mean, there's a lot of things that will build up that championship spirit in you just having that experience. Would you agree?
Oh, I totally agree with that. Like back in our day, that's the beginning of our friendship, right? Was we met playing, and then friendship grew after that. So there's so many stories that way. And on the petition, people are putting in comments, right? And there's a couple of comments along those lines. It's like, some of my best friends I met through competition, and they're they're not or I'm in private school and they're in public school.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, a lot of those things are born through those games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the other side, like I said, I coach the boys junior nationals. I have boys some from Tejan, some GW, Southern, Sanchez, FD, and there's I like that friendly rivalry, right? When we go visit somebody and play them, and there's no bad blood, but there's hard competition. I like that kind of thing,
mm-hmm.
and it benefits down the road, man. Those are friendships and connections that like look at now, right? I'm able to talk to you on your show, and it's all good because this was born 30 years ago.
And guys, Steve is actually covering up the fact that FD basically spanked us twice in my senior year, both when we visited them and when they came into my gym. So, thank you for not bringing that up, Steve. I just had to because, I had to beat you to the punch, bro.
Yeah, hey, I forgot the record that I don't remember. I don't remember.
Okay, so well, speaking of record, the reason why you made this petition, and we've got the URL up right now. So you guys, please go check this out because this is a very important concept. And getting this on the record is one side, Coach, but where do you go from here? And say, you're looking for what, 1,000 signatures, right? And should you reach that level, or whatever point of critical mass you do, where do you go from there to actually make this a reality?
So honestly, I don't think there's a magic number, right? But I'm just gonna let it sit. My plan is to let it sit through the month of May. Let the seasons end, right? Because there's really nothing we can do at this point for the boys' season, except for try to plan some postseason something, right? Postseason event. But after that, I'm talking with the Guam Volleyball Federation officers, and really in my capacity, I can't, because I am a coach, I fall under a chain of command, right? I don't have the authority or power to go into the IIAAG meeting or the ISA meeting and try and push my weight around.
Mm-hmm.
So all I can do is take this petition to, let me see if there's a formal way I can present it. I really don't know the answer right now, but I'm going to try and find the answer. Mm-hmm. A formal way to present this to those groups and see if we can come up with a solution. Mm-hmm. I really don't think it's that hard to get the two sides to play, especially like look at this year where we're both playing at the end of the year. We're both playing right now, but we're just not playing each other, which kind of doesn't make sense to me.
Now, for context, Steve, why did the two leagues kind of like separate right now? And just so people understand, who is in, what league? Is it regional? Is it private versus public versus, versus Department of Defense schools and everything? Like, how do you separate the teams?
Okay, so the ISA side is the public school side. That's all public schools. The IIAAG side is private schools. And I think schools like Dodea, GAA, that are not technically either, right? Or, they can affiliate with either. Why did the split happen initially? I was not in those meetings, but I have heard, a few stories. But a big part of it is like DOE wanted to, for a long while, IIAAG was the one running the sports, right? So even public schools fell under IIAAG. But DOE wanted control of their own schools, their own sports. That's kind of like the short story. I know there's a lot more behind it. But I think the DOE board was pushed in that direction. They voted to break away and form their own organization. So.
And to be fair, at least for the moment, you're only proposing and you're only seeking community support for uniting IIAAG and ISA just for volleyball, or you're not seeking for all sports, right? Or are you?
Yeah, I'm the petition is specific to indoor boys and girls volleyball because beach, there's certain sports already that are finding ways to combine, right? Just because of the number, there's not enough teams, so it makes sense to combine. Beach volleyball already combines. I know the boys, we played Tejan, we played, I think Tejan was the only public school this past season, but
And as a parent, of course, you know, your son Logan was a tremendous beach volleyball player, is a tremendous beach volleyball player as well as indoor and everything. So, you know, when you're talking to, you know, the next generation, what can you tell them about being able to say like, hey, I hear there's this really, really good kid at GAA, or there's this, you know, lights out libero that plays for maybe one of the Dodea schools, or there's this kid over at GW that is just like wrecking everybody. And, you know, and kids like that, and they want the competition and say, I want to put my skills up against this guy, you know. But yes. As a parent, how do you tell your kids, like, you know, about that this kind of competition is healthy?
Oh yeah, I mean, with boys is easy, right? I coach boys at high school, and competition is the driver, right? It's like even just within amongst themselves. So when they do hear that there's a team that's strong out there's a player that's strong out there, that's automatic. They just want to know how they can do against them, what they can do against them, or how they would perform against them. And that's the fun part, right? Is let me see if I can block that guy. Let me see if I can get past him, you know? Yeah. There you go. So,
I still brag to this day. 30 years ago, I was like, dude, I roofed Steve Pangelinan in high school. I still tell that story.
Hey, that was a good block right there. I saw it. Good technique there.
But then, of course, you beat us twice, and then we won't go back to that.
No, man, no. But yeah, it's man, that's like now we know Tizen's super strong. Mm-hmm. We only saw them in the preseason. We know GW is doing good, but we'll never get a chance to see them, and it's just it's all I can do is ask for my boys. You know, it's like, let me just ask. I can't do anything.
Okay, now to be fair, I'm going to ask you to at least, you know, entertain, you know, the counter argument, right? Have you received any pushback to the contrary, or have people actually come up to you and says, you know, okay, I heard you doing that petition, or, you know, I've heard you know, what you're proposing. I like it better this way. Have you gotten any sort of feedback to that end?
So I did a little survey amongst my junior national boys before I put out the petition. I said, hey, you guys, this is our chat, right? You guys wanna, do you think we should combine the leagues or leave them separate? And like all of them, combine, coach. And then there's one, I like to keep it separate. And so, you know, everybody jumped on him, but we're like, hey, why do you want to keep it separate, right? Competition and all that. And he goes, you know, I kind of like the idea of facing a team once and then facing them a second time to see if I can make adjustments and, you know, see how I can do better. Mm-hmm. I like, okay, that's, you know, when you say it like that, right, that makes sense, right? Yeah. We're not going to jump on you for that.
As a competitor, you want that challenge, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, a great majority of the boys, they all want to combine. It's just the one.
Okay.
Aside from that, I haven't heard any, well, I haven't asked, but I'm sure there's opposing points, right, to why we should stay separate.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, this is the perfect venue. So all of you guys watching Link Fam right now, make sure to put in comments, you know, how you feel about Coach Steve's petition right now. We got the link to, and make sure that you let us know, like, do you think that ISA and IIAAG should be combined for both boys and girls indoor volleyball? Steve, we do have a comment, and I believe this is from a fellow Friar. Absolutely. Roman Dela Cruz says, Steve's always been a hard worker with really good intentions. Good stuff, Coach. Let's make it happen.
Oh, nice.
And that's on Facebook. And you know, Roman knows a thing about, you know, developing sports on Guam too. Of course, he's doing like amazing things with the sling stones and, you know, educating like the young people. And, you know, Roman's always been an athlete and everything. So Rome, thank you for that comment.
Yeah, that was a nice comment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Steve, how long has your petition been up right now? And you said you're going to keep it up at least through the end of May. So which would be the end of the volleyball season and the end of the school year and everything. But how long has it been up so far?
It's been up for gotta be a week at least.
Okay.
I think just 1 week.
So fairly new.
Fairly new, yes.
Okay.
And first day, like, I put it out that night. I woke up and there's already 500. And then just slowly every day, another 100, another 100. So it's slowly gaining steam. But that's a lot. Like 500 is a lot of people already, you know?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Well, and like I said, you know, hopefully now that this is getting on record, and if you can in fact prove that you've got a substantial amount of people who feel as you do and everything, maybe you will be able to have an audience with, you know, ISA and IIAAG at the same time, and, you know, maybe make this argument and just say, you know, this is better for competition, this is better for the island. Of course, there is the logistics side, and that's what I wanted to, kind of cover right now, because, if it is only the private schools play each other, or it is a regional thing, like, only Sanchez, JFK, and Ukadu are allowed to play each other because they're in such close proximity, and, they don't have to worry about the busing situation. You're obviously going to have to deal with that too.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know the answer, right? I know ISA and IIAAG are fine existing separate right now.
Mm-hmm.
For some sports, they found ways to combine. I think that's really what we're looking for. Just give me an answer on how we can combine. You guys can stay separate. Just let the kids play each other.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't know how that works or what the answer is. I do know that we've been able to run leagues where we played each other, no problem. The scheduling, the referees. That's while it was under IIAAG. So can it happen again? I'm guaranteed. I'm sure we can happen again if we have the will behind it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully there is going to be a lot of support generated from this. As your former teammate, like Roman said, I mean, I've always known, you've always taken point on things that you feel very strongly about, and kudos to you for putting this out there, and not just sticking your neck out, but doing this for the kids and making sure that students have the best athletic experience possible.
No, thanks for saying that, because before I put it out, I was like, when that forming the petition asks you to put your name, right? I was like, maybe I might make people look bad if I put my name, right? Because I work for this school, or I represent this and that. And then I was like, if I believe in it, why won't I put my name on it, right?
There you go.
So, yeah, I wound up putting my name on it. It's like, I hope I don't offend the folks I'm trying not to offend, but this needs to be said, I think.
Sure. And like Rome said, I mean, you've always been someone who does things with, with the best of intentions, and as a coach and as someone who has been successful. And as we said at the beginning of this interview, there is a chance where you could not pull off the four-peat, but you're perfectly okay with that because, overall it would make the entire athletic experience better for everybody.
Oh yeah. I always tell my boys, we learn the most after a loss. When you win something, no one's really thinking about how can we improve because we won. But when you lose, it's like it takes you back, and you have to think. You have to rewrite what you did and try and improve. So taking losses is never a bad thing, I don't think.
Absolutely. And certainly, your boys have been very, very well prepared under your tutelage, and they haven't had many losses in the last 3 school years. So pulling off that three-peat is not an easy thing to do, my friend. But let me end by let's wrap up by saying this. Make your final pitch. I know you kind of covered it baseline earlier, but what is the major reason why people should at least give consideration to the fact that ISA and IIAAG should be combined for boys and girls indoor volleyball?
I think first and foremost, the number one reason why we should is because that's what I believe, and the petition is showing, that's what a majority of the players, the parents, and the coaches want. That's what they want to see. They want competition. They want a chance to challenge each other. And why are we putting on this league? It's for those kids, and let's go give them what they want. If we can give them that competition, let's give it to them. Big picture, it just benefits the island's volleyball level of play if we let everyone play each other. It helps out the island in the end, especially when it comes to national teams. We have a better picture of who can do what, because we've seen them all, in the league. So combining the leagues, I think, is the way to go.
Absolutely. So Steve Pangelinan, everybody, the coach of the FD Friars, and he has been successful at every level, the national team level, high school level, coaching at the club level. You played for New Heights for a really, really long time. started up that club and everything like that. So he wants to know your feedback and everything, and it's an interesting concept and everybody. So Coach, we wish you the very best of luck, and let's catch up in a few weeks, or maybe at the end of May, and let's see where this petition goes and hopefully what we're going to do with this.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, Coach.
You too.
All right, so that's Steve Pangelinan. And once again, everybody, the link is below. Please make sure to check it out. It's in our comments, and if you feel as strongly as Coach Steve does, then make sure that you add your name to the petition. All right, we are going to take a real quick commercial break here on a Monday edition of The Link, and when we come back, Mayor's Council of Guam President Jesse IIAAG weighs in with his thoughts on what is going on with the island's municipal leaders. Please stay tuned. That is coming up right after.
Subscribe to our KOAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KOAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KOAM Communications. Go to KOAM